do you make of the Knicks, Jack? 11 in a row. Got hot in that Boston series. Mowed through the Sixers, mowed through the Cavaliers. What's been the key for their rise in New York? They're a team that, again, they're probably not as talented as the other two in the West. Certainly as deep. But, man, they're going to be fresh, and they're playing really good basketball right now around Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. That's kind of a scary team, and I know you like their matchup against one of the teams in the West, right?
Yeah, I think that the Knicks are a great jump shooting team. I think they have depth. I think that Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns I feel like Karl Anthony Towns has become underrated in this conversation. Is what he can do for that team and stretching the floor, one of the best big men shooters of all time. I wouldn't sleep on the Knicks. I agree. I mean, at the top end, they're not as talented as the Thunder or the Spurs, but with how banged up the Thunder are, if they can even get through this series with San Antonio down basically two starters, and then with San Antonio, the youth and the matchup problems that I think the Knicks can present with the length that they have and the shooting that they have.
Yeah, they got a lot of two-way players.
Yeah, they're killing everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, they're killing everybody. They've won 11 in a row. They've had
average margin of victory is like 20
40-point
plus
games in these.
Yeah, I mean they're playing with such confidence, and now you can have a look at their competition because the Sixers were without Joel Embiid and flawed, and obviously the Cavaliers. And that's a flawed team, obviously, as well, and kind of a complete Jekyll and Hyde that decided to go, Hyde the whole time, or Jekyll. Which one is it? They were not good through this series, and they had played back-to-back 7-game series Cavaliers, so they may have ran out of gas a little bit. Yeah. Whereas the Knicks have just mowed through people. They're impressive. Now, this series with Oklahoma City and San Antonio has been impressive. So you got to go all the way back to Friday night when the Thunder beat the Spurs. Right, that was quite a message sent. Coming back home in a 1-1 series, Spurs took game 1 in that brilliant performance by Wemby. Thunder bounced back, and then that game 3, the Thunder in that Friday night win, Jack, their bench scored over 70 points in that game. That's the most in a conference finals game ever.
Yeah,
or a final.
They can do that from time to time.
Their bench scored over 70 points in the game, and SGA was pretty good in the game. So if you're a Spurs fan, you're like, what the heck happened in game 3? Well, they bounced back and dominated game 4, and you heard Patrick Osborne talking about it. The Spurs on Sunday night only scored 103 points. That's their second lowest total of the playoffs, but they held Oklahoma City to 82. 82 points. Jack, that's the lowest that the Thunder have scored in a game in like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, they 82. They go to the fourth quarter with 82 most nights, and the Spurs held them to that. Actually, it's the lowest output since December of 2021. For Oklahoma City, 82 points. And obviously they kind of waved the right flag into the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. But the key defensive adjustments, I thought, from Mitch Johnson and the Spurs, their execution, they held OKC to 33% shooting from the field and 6 for 33 from three-point range. They forced 20 turnovers. That led to 25 Spurs points. We talked about maybe the biggest stat in this series is turnovers forced and then points off of those turnovers because both teams are so high level in their half-court defense. So if you can create transition baskets, you have an opportunity. But I thought the schematic tweak that Mitch Johnson created, SGA in game 3 for sure, even in game 2, they were coming at him with a lot of traps and trying to get the ball out of his hand, but they were leaving guys open. I mean, by trapping him and getting the ball out of the MVP's hands, they were leaving Alex Caruso wide open and Cason Wallace and Jared McCain, and these guys were knocking down threes. That's how they got to 70 points off their bench. Well, in game 4, they largely switched back to single coverage on SGA and got individual efforts from Steph Castle and Devin Vassell and Dylan Harper. They did a great job on him, and that allowed them to cover everybody else and play their swarming D and played at a lot more intensity than they did in game 3. And, I don't know if that can continue, but that was a nice adjustment. 11 steals, 10 blocks, and those transition points were the difference in the game, and only 82 points for the Thunder on Sunday night.
Yeah, I don't think that they shot 18% from 3. Some of that was good defense. Some of that was
bad shooting night.
They just didn't make shots. Also, the Thunder have 2 of their most important ball handlers out. Jalen Williams is a all-NBA caliber player. Yeah. He's not playing. He's an all-defensive player. He's not playing. A.J. Mitchell is the guy that starts when Jalen Williams can't play. He is also out. So the Thunder are basically down to 1.5 ball handler with Shea and then Jared McCain, who you don't really want the ball in his hands. He's more of a movement shooter type of guy. But I think, makes it a lot easier on defense when you don't have those guys out there.
Especially to your point. I mean, Jalen Williams he's the Scottie Pippen to SGA. I mean, he's that kind of player. He's 6'8", 6'9", long, shoots threes, but also plays great defense. So a two-way player. We saw him last year in their run to the championship. Those two were dynamic. And I don't know that Jalen Williams comes back.
No,
I mean, when you consider a guy that had a month out with a hamstring, tried to come back, and then pulled it again. That's a soft tissue injury that's not getting better anytime soon. And A.J. Mitchell, who with Jalen Williams out dominated the Lakers series for the Thunder, he's that second guy.
22, 23 points a game.
Meanwhile,
in that
the Spurs have gotten De'Aaron Fox and Dylan Harper back. Like the Dylan Harper injury of the games in Oklahoma City where you're, oh my gosh, well, Dylan Harper's back and De'Aaron Fox has come back from the ankle. So as you heard Patrick just say, they're fully healthy. Nobody on their injury report. The Thunder have two significant pieces. So is it safe to say, if we agree, and I think the Knicks can be a tough out in the finals, but I do agree the winner of this series will win the championship. This might be the biggest basketball game of the season tonight in the NBA.
Yeah.
This might be the biggest game played in the NBA tonight. Obviously, if they get to a Game 7, then that would become the biggest game. But, man, again, when you look at the numbers, that in a 7-game series, 2-2 series locked up, they've gone Spurs, Thunder, Thunder, Spurs. Winner tonight, 75 to 80% of the time wins the series because it's two chances to win one game. This might be the biggest game that's been played in 2025, 2026 in the NBA.
And right now, I just don't think OKC has the horses.
Yeah.
They don't have enough players. They are out of players that they could rely on.
Oh, man, and that's their strength. Their superpower is the depth and injuries at the wrong time. I mean, you try to stay fresh, you try to keep guys healthy, but, long season, whatnot. But Jalen Williams is a big piece. Caruso's been great, but he's not a star player, so he's going to go up and down. But their role players will play better back home tonight.
Sure.
And they need that. So the Spurs have to play their best game because if they can win this game, they put themselves in a position to come back home and not have to go back. Do you think Mitch Johnson stays with that and just because obviously Mark Dagnall's going to make his adjustment to the adjustments. That's the way this series goes.
Yeah.
But, the Spurs, I'm sure the Thunder are pretty embarrassed by an 82-point performance in Game 4.
Dead on. And, after all the complaints about Isaiah Hartenstein and the way he was allowed to play in Game 2,
the goon.
Well, the Spurs got that whistle in Game 4.
They did.
Shea was getting murdered.
Yeah, they were.
Oh, he flops. He shoots. He shot 7 free throws.
Yeah.
Get over it. I mean, he was getting hammered.
He
all
does
game.
flop, but yes, he was getting hammered in that game, and they allowed it to happen. And I know Thunder fans north of the Red River weren't happy.
So we'll see what it looks like in Game 5 because in single coverage, Shea can torch you, but also who's he swinging the ball to? When the defense collapses
I'd almost
on
let
him.
Shea torch you and not give up those wide open shots. I mean, that's what they were doing.
One guy scoring 40 isn't probably going to beat you.
Right. On Friday night.
And they don't have everybody else.
Well, let's also say we've got this 10 minutes into this conversation, and we haven't mentioned Wemby. I mean, Wemby was sensational. I mean, in the games that they've won, Wemby has been otherworldly good. We know the first game with the 40-plus points, the 20-plus rebounds. In this game on Sunday, he had a half-court shot at halftime. You see that? Where he was trying to score. He hit a three-pointer from 50 feet as he crossed the mid-stripe, and, man, it was pure as it can be. Knocked it in, and Wemby was phenomenal. 33 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks. And we say this with Wemby all the time. The 3 blocks doesn't do it justice. He altered so many shots. He intimidated so many shots. Like we say, I mean, how many blocks where guys just said, I'm not taking that shot. I'm not going to do that. And it just alters the possession in such a big way. Safe to say Wemby, who took the performance that the Spurs had on Friday night in Game 3 personal and said he has to be better, and they didn't play with the force or the intensity he was going to take. He did. If Wemby plays like that, like he did in Games 4 and 1, I don't know that the Thunder, as banged up as they are, Jack, can beat them. It's really about Wemby. Does Wemby play to that level? If he does, I think the Spurs have a good chance tonight. Because if you're going to let Shea torch you, well, guess what? Wemby on the floor can alter some of that stuff. And yes, Shea's going to flop. Shea's going to drop to the ground almost every time he tries to get somebody in the air. But if Wemby plays with that force and plays with that type of intensity, he's the best player in the world. I mean, he's the best player on the floor, better than SGA even when it comes to the impact that he can have on the basketball game. And so, if you're going to watch one basketball game this year in the NBA, I would guess that you probably suggested this one because I think the winner of tonight's game will get to the finals, and I think the winner of tonight's game will win the championship. And that's tonight, 7:30? in OKC. We'll get a preview of that coming up throughout the course of the morning. Try to check in with our buddy John Medani, ESPN Radio. He'll be courtside for that. So he's been courtside for all 4 games. So we'll try to get to him, see if he can jump on with us and give us a eyewitness thought on how this thing swings back to the north. Which team, which team, Spurs or Thunder, are the Knicks a better matchup for in the finals?
I think the Spurs.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, they're just not predicated around getting to the basket. And I mean, like they
being the Knicks?
The Knicks.
Right.
Yeah, they get so much in the mid-range. I think that the Knicks would do a great job getting Victor Wembanyama out on the perimeter, and that is an area where he seems like he's mastered just about everything else. But once you get him out on the perimeter, you can work him a little bit. And I think Jalen Brunson would be better than just about anybody in the league than that. I mean, they have OG Anunoby, they have Mikal Bridges, they have that goon enforcer type guy inside, and Mitchell Robinson that they could use. And then Karl Anthony Towns is a big swing in the series because it feels like he can be up and down, but when he's up, I mean, they're pretty incredible. And I wouldn't take this series lightly at all. And I don't think
well,
it's
they got to get there first, either one.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting point because the Knicks are now going to sit back for the next 8 days and wait.
Yeah, the Knicks could, certainly win the championship this year. I think this is the best Knicks team.
Well, I think it was.
Ever.
And their owner, James Dolan, who took a lot of heat when he fired, Tom Thibodeau and went to bring in a new voice. And
I get it.
Mike Brown was a pretty non-inspiring hire, but Mike Brown's done a great job. This team's playing with great chemistry. They're playing for one another, and some of the parts. I mean, and they got a lot of good parts, but some of the parts were the Knicks. So, and by the way, the last time the Knicks made the finals, they ran into the Spurs, 1999, the
27 years ago.
strike-shortened season. And the time before that, the Knicks were in it. They ran into the Rockets back in the O.J. Simpson White Bronco chase series. I think that's the last 2 times the Knicks have been in the finals.
Yeah, and then before that, it was the 70s, and they won both of them.